Now, this is a topic that a lot of people have been asking me about. They ask me, how did this even happen? How did you come back out of it? And I'm gonna be breaking this down. So, buckle your belt. You're gonna learn a lot in this video, especially if you haven't experienced it before. If you do have experienced it before, that you make a lot of money and you lose everything almost overnight, then you're gonna relate a lot about this. And I hope you will as well learn something on this. So, let me take you back to 2021. I was in Dubai in the Paramount Hotel, got a crazy big suite, wall view of Dubai under me, downtown, Burj Khalifa, you name it. Seeing all these light shows every day. And it was like 5K a month or something I was paying there. And, and at some point, we were just scaling 7 figures back to back a month, so millions. And then suddenly, I was just sitting, working as usual, and just one of our stores, the revenue had dropped a little bit. And my brother called me, so I thought maybe it was perhaps because of that, because we dropped from like 30K a day to 20K a day. And he called me, he's like, Farouk, we're fucked. And I'm just sitting there eating some KFC here, and he said, we're fucked. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? Tell me about it. You know, even if I think now back about it, man, it was so fucking crazy, man. So he will tell me, Farouk, we're getting all these chargebacks from our payment processor, and we cannot do anything about it. If I try it, it doesn't work. So I was like, all right, now really what is going on, you know? So what happened essentially at that point is that we had a whole team, a backend, working people, but back in the day there was on that particular payment processor, there was an issue that if you will try to do, if you would, so how it goes is that normally if a person is not happy with the product, they do a dispute, and this was a case about the payment method Klarna, by the way. So they do a dispute, and then like what? So the person they do a dispute, and then it is up to like the customer, Klarna, and yourself to prove, all right, who's in the right or who's in the wrong, right? And we would have a lot of disputes which we didn't even see. Before even trying to win the case to show to Klarna, hey, we really did something good, and the customer's just claiming about some bullshit, we just lost everything. So we would have like 500 chargebacks a day. Yeah, and it was all for like a long time. I can't even remember how long, you know, and then at least for weeks at least. And then all $60, $70, $80, $30, whatever. And also on top of that, you also had a chargeback fee also on it for every chargeback as well. So you would lose the whole revenue, and you will also pay, I think, like $10 if I'm right, also a fee on it because you lost it. So imagine you do a lot of revenue, and then you pay the cost of goods, you pay the ad spend, and keep in mind we had around like 25. I'd say around like 25% or even a little bit lower in profit margin on these stores. And you have the profit, but besides it, you're losing all your profit, you're also losing on top of it, like the revenue. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? And if I remember like back to it, it was very hectic. We were in a very good phase, making good money for the first time in our lives, me and my brother. And yeah, it was fucked up, of course. It was really fucked up. But I was thinking, what are you gonna do now, right? Because obviously you have to pay everything back, which we did. Obviously, it's not really that we had a choice because they would do all their hard stuff to make us pay, and we obviously did. But what are my learnings from here, guys? What I want to talk with you guys about is that it is very important that when you're making some money with ecom, that you don't forget about the backend, because this is one of the biggest reasons why most dropshippers, if they do 1 or 2 or 3 months some good numbers, they fall back. There's no consistency. It's all fucked up shit all the time, and that is because they are scaling from the front end to the back end, and you should do the opposite. You should scale from the back end and to the front end. Let me explain. So what we do, some changes that we've made. So this this is also one of the reasons how we managed to make all the money back, by the way, because we paid around like 500K, is that instead of only focusing on the sales, we focus more, after we had, let's say, one or two winners, we would go into the backend. Okay, so to the backend, so we would go to the backend in our company, because with drop shipping, you can lose a lot of money, and you can maybe think you have a winning product because you sell it, you get some complaints, and nobody's, or not, what I see is a lot of people, they don't check the product quality. So what happens, you make some money, but on the back end, you're already losing some money. But in the back end, you're already losing even more money. So what most people don't get is they would scale a fashion product. It has like 4 or 5 ROS, even 6 ROS. They will scale it to the moon before doing any and before doing any product quality checks. And then what happens, you look after a month, after all the disputes and chargebacks, everything that comes in, you even lost money. You thought maybe in the front end you had 30% profit margin, but after all the complaints are coming in, you're losing money. So this is why fashion can really be fake ROAS, unless you really know what is going on with your product. Like what is going on with your product, how is it, and how is your backend, most importantly. So this is now how we do it. And this is like how every 7-8 figure guy, if you do even if you do 6 figures a month, you should do this. First of all, every single product which we have over 10 orders a day, we always make sure that our supplier sends us videos and images of the product. Why? A lot of times because it's being sourced from China, because we find our products from competitors, AliExpress and Temu, or 1688.com. And what happens is that first, a lot of products are not the same as the image. You can scale it and make money, but the complaints are gonna get, but the complaints will get with it, they can get you really fucked. So we always make sure whenever we have a product which has at least 5 or 10 sales a day, we make sure that our supplier does we just make sure that our supplier, they do a double quality check. They send us pictures and images, videos, whatever, of the particular product. If it's a fashion product, for example, and they would have like a dress, like the owner of the fulfillment company, he would just tell to his workers, like a woman, hey, wear a dress and let me send as well like a picture to Faruk and his team and see if they're selling really the same shit. Because if I see that is not the case, we'll just refund the customers and stop selling the product. Simply, you know. I don't want to put out bad karma in the world. I don't want to scale a product that as well is going to lose me money. It's going to make me even more miserable and fucked. So we do that. Second thing, we check out what kind of inventory they have, and as well in terms of the warehouse, the production time. Because a lot of products you could sell it out very quickly, but the production time can be so long that the shipping can be really delayed. So we also check that out. Is it solid? And you really have to make sure that to ask as well, and this is the fourth thing, how many pieces you can really sell in a day. So the contact with the supplier is very important. And this is why we have sheets for every single product that we sell. We look at the weekly dispute rate, chargeback rate, dispute volume in terms of money. So many more details, so many more details. If you want to see how we exactly go about the backend and how we fix this, I will just, to be honest, go to school.com/general dropshipping. The 17th module of the course that I made is like for 6, 7, 8 figure people. And believe me, this is the value about the backend you're not gonna find anywhere else. I mastered the backend in EU markets and I've shown it, So this is something very, very, very important. This is one of the ways that we managed to make all the money back and still till this day scale consistently with our stores, because we, as you guys know, we do like 80-90% fashion, But besides that, if I'm gonna go about and talk about what really happened as well, like that time was that I was really fucked up, to be honest, was that how are you gonna come back when this all happens, right? Because you finally make some money in life and then you almost lose it all overnight. And it was a great struggle. The hairline was going backwards of me. Like now it's fine again, thank God. But I was getting gray hair, sleepless nights, um, and it wasn't that crazy sweet, all alone. And yeah, it was kind of lonely. I depressed? I don't know. I was for a month really fucked up, but I quick maybe even less. But then we quickly just figured out like we just have to skip the negativity and we have to focus on the positive things. But how can we bounce back? Because the real entrepreneur is not somebody who does only want to succeeds, but will somehow, because for every entrepreneur this will happen, like these kind of setbacks and fallbacks, totally normal. And that's why I'm not afraid to talk about it, because this is what shapes you. But how? But the real question is, how are you going to bounce back? Do you have what it takes? If you do that and you manage to do it, like I did, I believe then you're a real entrepreneur. That is what I really believe. So there's people who had even more miserable situations probably, but this is the way that we did it. And I've had some friends who as well experienced the same kind of stuff. They, some of them bounced back, some of them went even worse, but it's all in your own hands, my brother, really. And yeah, quite crazy times, man, really. Very dark periods, I must say, but if you really want to achieve something big and great in life, you have to go through it. Um, the way also we managed to pay this back all at once, because we literally went like minus 500k overnight, was just because yeah, I had the nice suite and stuff, but I wasn't really spending crazy amounts of money. I only went on a crazy shopping spree once in my life. That's not really crazy considering the money I made, I think. Um, for example, and most of my money I would either help my family out or just invest back in the business, because building is still the thing that makes me the most happy, and that really wakes me up. Just building and striving into shit, even though 99% of the time in my case it goes wrong. I still try it out, even till this day, like with our e-com stores or with the personal brand that I'm as well putting more and more time and effort in, is that we will look. The w- the whole issue is that as well, like with the personal brand game, is that even though people look at you all the time, they think you have it all perfectly figured out. But man, it's all just the same shit, man. If you see me succeed with something, you better know that I put in hundreds of shit before that in order to get there. I was never a one-hit wonder, and I will never be, and I know it. But I'm just that motherfucker that would just keep on going until he really gets it. And if I would stop with something, it will be only because I don't really see potential in it, not because I'm afraid it's not gonna work. You know. So I think if you have just that mindset, and you understand that, because if you didn't have these kinds of setbacks yet, 100% it's gonna happen for you. 100%. You know. And how are we gonna deal with it? We're gonna cry like a bitch, or we're just gonna just stand up and say, you know what, motherfucker, come at me. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna do this. Doesn't matter what situation you're in. Because even before this, I said another time, a podcast I did with Nathan. I mean, I went like 2 or 3 times like broke even before this wall, before I made money, and that was also very bad feeling, to be honest. But this one hit even crazier, because you make all this money, you go into a kind of life mindset and status, and then you lose it again. So yeah, that was kind of the story on how we did it. And so I mean, this is kind of the story on how we lost 500k. You can say overnight. We paid it back. We came back, and big was a big test for us, a very big test. But yeah, just never giving up, man. One of the most important things. So, guys, that was pretty much it. And I want to say as well, um, before I'm closing the video, is that we, by the way, as well have a Discord community. Um, it's $50 a month only, so you can just join it if you want to. Um, and we just go about like drop shipping EU markets and we talk about it. There's also one group call a week. Um, but even like besides that, if you're really with drop shipping, you really want to have like the secrets on how we scale to at least like 6 figures every single month, I would just really recommend you the program, to be honest. And I don't care to even say it because our program is genuinely very good, the way we do it. And I just like to do it as well, to be honest. Um, I would recommend to join it so you at least learn ecom and dropshipping EU markets from somebody who's really done it and is still doing it. So, yeah, guys, that was pretty much it. Ecom out. Peace out.